Hey, welcome back everybody. Sign here again with a little quick tutorial video on how to switch single player instances in Ark. So you're going to want to go to your Steam folder here, right? So Steam apps, common, Ark. And then you're going to want to go shooter game. This is where it gets a little fun. Saved. And this is right here. This is all your saved Arks. This is your configs. Local profiles is where your character is saved. Saved games. This is actually not saved games. This is for various mods and whatnot that have different settings and whatnot that need to be saved to your computer. Like awesome teleporters, dino storage, all these fun ones here. And like Ragnarok has its own folder here, Gen 2, Extinction, Valguero, Scorched Earth. Saved Arks local is things like, well, like planes here. This is that flat map I've been using for my Spotlight series. Viking P is Fjordur, the island, different modded maps as well. It does add up after a while with just the variety of files in here, but really they're not that big. Uh, Character settings, if you've saved your characters, that'll be name.arc character setting. So on and so forth. There's different backups and so on and so forth as well. But yeah, it's this is where you'll end up if you need to restore from a backup or whatever. This is basically how you end up doing that. Now, one thing you want to do is, well, at least in my case, you can see here local profiles. Usually all there is in here is player local data dot arc profile. Now there's a couple things you can do here. One is you can say rename this, right? Rename to anything you want. Like say dot this is my Primal Fear character. Then I would do like dot .pf at the end of it. And then that way you can keep them, multiple player files in here and you just change that extension at the end afterwards, which dot .pf enter. Windows will be like, hey, you sure you want to do this? You hit yes. And now Arc will no longer recognize this as a character. And if you don't have anyone, available, it'll prompt you to create a new one, so on and so forth. And then want to go back to using this character, you can just go through and do that, right? Get rid of the .pf or whatever you put at the end, and now it's a valid profile again. Now, I don't do this because I also run usually slightly different configs between series. And you see here I've got collector playthrough, EXT extras, hunted, primal for Primal Fear, and then my mod Spotlight characters. So what I usually do whenever I'm switching is you go here to config. Now, this config here is your actual saved configs. You go back one to shooter game, this config is the base configs for the game. So if you somehow mess up, the configs in saved, you can back up one layer, and here's clean, fresh configs you can play around with. So what I'm saying is you have changed your game user settings.ini. Don't do it in a shooter game. Do it under shooter game saved, and that'll be it for you. What I usually end up doing now is I just hit cut, go to not saved arcs local, local profiles, and then my Primal Fear. So I'm going to put it under Primal and just paste it in there. I keep a backup of all my configs and players inside of this folder as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. And then you can just take and drag and drop the character in there. And boom, you're done, right? Now I'm going to be ready to do a mod Spotlight. So I'm going to hit copy for here, backup one, paste it into this folder. And then we're going to do the same thing with the config. We're just going to copy this and paste it into shooter game saved. And that's it. That's just make sure you keep them separate. Make sure you keep backup at all times in case you accidentally load up the wrong character or whatever and you lose a bunch of stuff. If you're doing different modded series, each one, since you're moving your configs around, each series can have a different mod list, which is kind of nice. series, playthrough, whatever you call it. But all in all, it's extremely easy and pretty basic when you get down to it. But thank you for coming out. I hope it was informative, and until next time, signing out. Have fun.